Welcome back to BCB Live. You know it, we're the safest station in the nation, and that means we only bring on the safest people, the safest companies in the nation. You know what? We haven't seen Barrie in a little while. Barrie, bring Barrie in. Let's bring him on into my world. Barrie, how you doing, buddy?
Doing fantastic. Great to see you, Sir Rick.
Oh, man, it's just awesome to see you, and we got a chance to talk a little bit before the show, and you're out doing a little bit of traveling. You're seeing a lot of things out there. Barrie, I want you to talk a little bit about some of the new technology, some of the new things you're seeing out there in this crazy world we're in. But I also want you to take time and reintroduce, Ping to us. Talk to us about the basis of what it is you do and some of the new things that are coming on with Ping as well.
Yeah, I'd love to. Shrinking margins, fuel increases, labor costs, driver shortages, the high costs associated with accident settlements. Most fleets and even independent operators are literally one collision away from going under. Yes. And that's our focus. Our focus is getting to a point where everyone arrives home safely and making the roads safer for everyone, not just our truck drivers, but everyone on the roads. And technology has a huge part to play in that. Unfortunately, technology is also very often the enemy, in that we have, as a society, become incredibly distracted by our phones and our tablets and the ping and the buzz and the vibrations of everything that hits that device while you're on the road. And when you get a surge of dopamine to the brain after hearing your phone buzz, you instinctively grab it, not realizing that it's illegal, it's dangerous, and it's putting everyone else at risk. And I'm not just talking about truck drivers, I'm talking about young kids and even people that have been driving for 20, 30, 40 years. It happens to everyone. And so that really was the genesis of us looking at technology both as a problem and as a solution. And coming up with Ping, which is what we believe a necessary part of keeping drivers safely connected to messages that could affect their trip. So essentially what Ping does is it listens out for email, for text, for other notifications, push notifications that could come from a trucking app or some other app, and reads them out eyes-free, hands-free to the driver so that they can stay focused on the roads and not be looking down. Even a 4-second glance at your phone, your vehicle has traveled the length of a football field by the time you come back up and look at the road ahead of you. And that in many cases can cause injuries, can cause damage, and can cause fatalities. So we built the company based on safety, but we also think about it from a driver's perspective as a productivity tool and a convenience tool. Because let's face it, if you get a message that says there is a load going from New Jersey to Indiana, do you want it? And that comes across as an email, and you're driving down the highway, what are the chances of you getting that message? Probably next to nothing, unless you break the law. So we're focused on that as one aspect of what we do. Another aspect of what we do is we actually show drivers how they perform behind the wheel. So do they speed? Do they hit the brakes too hard? Do they accelerate aggressively? Do they handle their phone while driving? And these coaching mechanisms will enable drivers to save money on fuel and maintenance, but also nurture them towards more safe driving behaviors. And then the third thing that we're super excited about is rewards. So in the realms of creating a safety environment, a safety culture, if you are a safe driver, we can reward you for that. So everything from every safe mile earns points that could be converted into coffee, food, iPad, AirPods, movie tickets, game tickets. So we are creating this culture of safety that people can be rewarded for. And what we found is that that becomes viral because people talk to other people and say, hey, how many rewards did you get this month? And what did you cash them in for?
Man,
so
that's
we really are trying to do 360.
That's awesome. I love what it is you're doing there. And again, based on the reward side, when the drivers are driving, and you brought up something that in today's market, and I just went over some of the freight. So with freight coming down where it was at, right? Tenders down, rejections are also have shrunk. the independent contractor today has seen all of a sudden, all of that opportunistic freight that they saw, 6 months ago, it's kind of gone. So the speed, that sense of urgency to answer that email or to know that email came through with a load offer, those are critical today for that driver to be able to know that came through, for the technology to read it back to them. If I'm an independent contractor out there, though, Barrie, and I heard that load, I like that load, can I also just say, hey, can I reply to that email while I'm driving down the road?
So we're definitely working on that technology. The reality is, and I don't know if you've ever tried this, you hold up your phone and you try and dictate a message to your phone using Google Assistant or Siri, and it comes out as garbage on the other end. So what we've created right now is very short, concise commands that a driver can use. And so we're focused on building technology for enterprise apps like these load board apps, where a simple command like, yes, I'm in, or I'll take that load, or, reading out a number is a much easier cognitive action than trying to dictate a full message out, which could get lost in translation, could get lost because of the noise in the cab or road noise or anything else. So we also are trying to reduce the amount of time that the driver is thinking about the message and not thinking about the road.
Wow.
So we're creating two things. We're creating these concise voice commands, but we're also creating under the NHTSA guidelines, 4 or 5 big buttons that take up the full tablet or the full screen, where a driver can quickly tap on it in less than 2 seconds to say yes or no or something else, delete.
I love that side of it. And so I love, again, I'm going to go on what you're doing there, because anything we can do to reduce or to make us better at what we're doing today, what we do know is this, is that more times than not, when that email comes through or something like that, the driver in a car, truck, is going to grab that phone and look at it. And what we want to do is take that temptation away. What you have right there is a great way to do that. Hey, I saw some good news yesterday as well. I think a little funding coming your way. Hey, congrats on that. And what's in store with all this money that just came in?
Yeah, super excited. So Valor Equity Partners has taken the lead on a $5 million seed round for Ping. They saw the need for this technology in the logistics world. They're experts in food transportation and logistics, amongst other things. And they really saw this as both an efficiency tool and a safety tool. They also do quite a bit of work in the insurance space. And as you know, insurance rates are going up for everyone, whether you drive a truck or a car. And that is primarily down to distracted driving. The insurance companies can't do anything about distracted driving other than potentially replace the behavior with something safer, which we think we're hopefully going to be a part of.
Gotcha.
So
hey,
we're going to be using the money to expand our product development and to build on the platform that is already in play, things like rewards and ways for drivers to make better use of the technology. We're also creating a bunch of partnerships. So this week we went live with a company called Cameramatics. They are a safety company out of Dublin, Ireland, and they put cameras on the back of trailers. They put them in the vehicles, in the cabs, front and rear facing cameras, to essentially keep drivers safe and to protect them from the personal injury lawyers that have said you were at fault for this crash. When you have the videotape, you can prove that it definitely wasn't you. So we're expanding our partnerships across the field in terms of what we can do as a community to create safer roads.
Barrie, your customer base that you're reaching out to today, is it a mix of everybody? Is it independent contractors with 1, 2 trucks? Is it the larger fleets, the private fleets, the company fleets? Who's kind of your base target today?
Yeah, it's a great question. So obviously we want everyone to be a safer driver. We're not really that focused on 1s and 2s at this point, although we have the Ping app out there. It has over 1 million downloads already.
Wow.
And we're seeing just fantastic feedback from people saying this literally saves me time and money. And what we don't want is independent contractors deadheading on the way home because they haven't got any loads and missing 3 or 4 emails that could have resulted in revenue for them. But we're also focused on doing enterprise deals with the likes of Walmart and others, where they take the technology and give it to their drivers at no cost, so that they can do two things: protect their drivers and protect themselves from liability. So an independent driver can be fined up to $2,750 per distracted driving occasion, and a company will get fined $11,000 per incident. So, the violations can really affect your safety measurement system, your SMS as well. And, the knock-on effect is huge for everyone, as will your insurance rates go up. So
yeah, and Barrie,
we're targeting insurance, big fleets, and associations that can push ping down. What I prefer not to have is drivers pay for ping themselves. Yeah. I would prefer an association or an institution to say, take this technology, use it, be safe, and make sure that everyone else is safe.
Hey, talk to me or talk to the trucking company that's watching this today that just go and tell us, and I hear it, and I know you hear it too, well, I have a no cell phone policy. That's just not enough. And what are your thoughts on that? Because so many of them will say, well, you know what, they're not supposed to use it. I have a policy that protects me. And I'm like, you know what? If there's a phone in the truck or if there's a phone in the car, somebody's going to use it. What you've got to do is find a way to take away that tip or use it differently, reduce the amount of time they're on that phone. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's a great question. And yes, there are policies out there, engines on, phones off. But the reality is that as humans, we do get a surge of dopamine to the brain every time our phone buzzes or pings. And it's such a strong urge, particularly when many of us have been locked up during the pandemic and sitting on our phones 24/7, that it's very difficult to control unless you have a camera in the vehicle. And even then, that's a reactive response. It's not stopping the behavior. You will have to view the tape and say, okay, he's on his phone, she's on her phone. So we really looked at technology as an enabler for efficiency, and these messages can change the nature of your trip. They could divert you, they could give you another load, and if we can eliminate the visual distraction and the cognitive distraction of looking at your phone and still keep people safely connected, then we're doing the best of both worlds there. And that's what we've done. The policies have to be enforced and they have to be maintained. So it's not good enough just to have a driver sign a policy that says, I won't use my phone. You have to be able to enforce it. And personal injury lawyers and other bodies have said it's not good enough that you've made someone sign a policy 12 months ago unless you are constantly monitoring phone use. And as you said, if there is a company phone in the vehicle, they're going to bring their personal device anyway. So rather replace the bad behavior with a better solution than simply put your head in the sand and say, but they've signed a policy, I'm in the clear. That's not how it works in the real world.
Gotcha. So you take that, and then you also take that rewards program, and you're starting to encourage and reward, our drivers out there on the road, and those are the big trucks and the small cars, for doing the right thing, for being safe, for staying focused on that road and using that ping technology to help them get there. And you know what? If you can go to a movie, if you can get a free coffee and be safe, there's nothing wrong with that either, right, Barrie?
100%. So, we're creating a safety culture. Show the driver their own behavior data and give them the tools to stay off their phones but still stay safely connected. And if you do both of those things well, here's some extra stuff here.
Awesome. Love it, love it, love it. Hey, Barrie, I want to thank you for being on BCB Live. Before we let you go, need you to state your name, who you're with, and then say you've been watching BCB Live, the safest station in the nation.
Well, thanks, Sir Rick. I'm Barrie Arnold from Ping, and BCB Live is the safest station in the nation.
All right, Barrie, thank you so much. I can't wait to see where you all take this software to. And I know you know this, and I know that you hear it, but what you're doing is so critically important to the success of saving lives and creating a culture of safety in trucking companies. Thank you, Barrie, for what you're doing.